Hello and welcome. We're just going to go live in about a minute or so we'll just wait and see if anybody turns up. We've got two people who have joined us already. If you are watching us in the course, welcome. If you would like to, then you can hit the discussions box, which is just at the top, and there's a discussion there from Ben saying hello. If you'd like to say hello and join the discussions, you're more than welcome, and we'll get started in a mere moment. You've got a minute to go and grab a coffee, get comfy, grab a water, and this is being recorded, so you will be able to watch it on the replay, so don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. Okay, Ben.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Really well, thank you. Yeah, sort of looking forward to working with everyone. Hope everyone's kind of found the course okay and is ready to go. Yeah, as you said, I've put a little question in the discussion if you want to engage with that one as well about kind of what you're hoping to take away from the course. So we'd be interested to know that. Obviously, myself and Louise will be supporting you across today and as you approach the course. So if we miss anything in terms of takeaways, we can maybe adapt to that as we go. There you go. First meta skill mentioned so far today.
Brilliant. Well, hello everyone, and an official warm welcome to you on our Meta Skills course, which is a 2-day course, but we are doing this in a lovely self-paced way, so you're able to work through all of those sessions. My name is Louise, and I'm the course facilitator. And with me today, I also have Ben.
Hi there, everyone. Yeah, so I'm really pleased to be working with Louise again and looking forward to kind of sharing this meta skills approach to becoming a critical engineer with you all. I'll talk about my background in a moment, but yeah, really, really pleased to be here.
So yeah, absolutely. We are delighted that you are here. There are 10 people who are joining us across Scotland on the course. I'm actually in Scotland as well. I'm up on the Moray coast. As you know, my name is Louise, and my background is actually education, community and youth work. And I originally started out helping young people to make a transition into further education, employment and training. So I do actually have a career background of supporting people and developing courses. I now work in the technology industry and work in the FE sector as well. So that you know that I'm in Scotland as well. I think we've got people right the way from the Central Belt, right the way through to the West Coast. I hope you're well where you are and excited about coming out of lockdown. As you're probably aware, it's maybe something not happening here for me and Moray. We've got a bit of an outbreak, but hopefully it won't be long. So we really do appreciate that everyone's probably had enough of online courses, but yeah, we're going to get going. So Ben, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am based south of the border, but I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of work up in Scotland in various different capacities. Going back though, I trained as a civil engineer and worked in as a civil engineer for a number of years. Also then worked in education after that. And more recently, I've been a training facilitator, and I facilitate design thinking engagements and design sprints, which is probably where I think the majority of the stuff that we'll talk about today kind of comes in, helping organizations adapt to change, which is obviously a big factor behind the creation of the idea of the meta skills and the critical engineer. So it's probably where I'll focus most of my time. But yeah, that's a bit of my background.
Thanks, Ben. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. We've got some slides which we'll make available to you as well, just to give you a lovely overview of the course, what it entails, how you complete it, and what you can gain out of it, and what you actually get at the end in terms of a physical outcome. So I will just have a look at these. So first of all, we do have our course sponsors, and they are the National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland and West College Scotland. So they have provided the funding for this course to take place. And you might be wondering what a critical engineer is and how this has all come about under this project. So Last year, West College Scotland had a project to support the manufacturing industry in Scotland move forward in a world that's changing quite rapidly. Also, of course, we were going through lockdown, and we wanted a way of helping organisations to think about how they might cope in the future as well. And the critical engineer was the notion that a company that needs to thrive in the future needs to have a team of employees or a workforce of people that can actually help the company to grow and thrive in the future. So a critical engineer is exactly that. It's you. You are someone who has a capacity for continuous learning because you're here, and that you can thrive in an environment where there's lots of change going on. And central to the organization changing is yourself and your attitudes and your skills. So the very nature of you being on the course means that you are a critical engineer. And throughout this course, we're going to show you how you can think about some of those important skills and how to evidence them. So you will have got your packs in the post as well. They've got some lovely postcards in that illustrate exactly what a critical engineer is. So as a result of this course, that it's scheduled for 2 days, but we recognise that some people might want to take longer. Some people might want to do things a little bit more quickly, but so it's completely self-paced. So we want you to get the most out of it and be reflective, of course. So as a result of successfully completing this semi-self-paced 2-day course, you will have gained an understanding of what the meta skills are, the 12 meta skills, and you will explore each of them in turn. And in doing that, you will develop your own strategies on how you can reflect on your own experiences and then how you can capture those meta skills. I think one way of kind of demonstrating that is, remember when you go for an interview and you're asked to demonstrate or give an example of a skill that you've got, and it's really, really difficult to think of something straight away, isn't it? And to even think about what skills you have yourself. I know that I clam up when I have to think about, evidencing what skills I might have. It's easier to think about them in advance and actually visualize them. But to do that on the spot is quite difficult. So I'm just going to ask Ben. Ben, what was an experience that you had that if I was to ask you a skill, what would you say is one of your experiences which helped you to develop those skills?
I think in the process of change, so working with initially schools and also more recently organizations, that process of change, I think the skill that I've kind of developed more and more is that ability to be curious about why change is hard for individuals or what the barriers are. And actually, I think initially you spend a lot of time trying to work it all out in your own head. And I've got a lot better at through actually developing some tools that do this, but also just by listening to people, of really understanding kind of their perspective on things. And I think that's allowed me to kind of assess a route forward with a group of people, with a team, much more effectively. So definitely curiosity in terms of that, starting that innovation process. And that probably then leads on to like the ability to collaborate and communicate with people as well, because I've actually listened to them as a starting point. So that's probably those ones. I mean, in particular, sort of working with a school that was trying to change their curriculum, and the process of doing interviews with a lot of people at the start, I think kind of dispelled a lot of assumptions I might have had, and we were able to move forward a lot more effectively.
Now, Ben, how long did it take you to think about those skills and then think of an experience that demonstrated that skill? If I hadn't asked you like an hour ago to...
I am very much appreciative that you asked me an hour ago. I had some time to dispel a lot of the ones that no one needed to hear about. Yeah, so it's true.
Tough. Yeah, so meta skills are the skills that we We know we have, it's just really difficult to explain them, or maybe we don't know we have them. And this course is going to help you to be able to think about your experiences and explain, what skills you might have gained from those experiences. So we know the technical skills, but we sometimes don't know what our soft skills or meta skills are. Prior to doing the work that I'm doing now, I used to work for Google, and when they do interviews, they actually kind of don't even bother with qualifications. They want to know that they've got someone who can be innovative and work with the company and collaborate with their colleagues. So Ben asked me the same question, if I could demonstrate a skill from my experience. And it took me a really long time to think about it as well. And I was thinking about showing initiative and being confident and courageous. And a couple of years ago, I was out of work and I didn't have a job. I'd actually moved for somebody else's job and had to give up my own job in the same time. So I was without a job. And I really liked this company called ThingLink and the product that they provide. It's like an educational tool. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to sod it. I'm going to write to them. And I contacted them on their question form on their website. And I just said, look, I really love your product. I don't suppose, you've got any jobs. I think that you could really develop your product by having case studies of its use. And they got in touch with me. And after a couple of conversations, the CEO got in touch with me. And I got offered a job. So that came out of nowhere. So I think that I showed a little bit of initiative in being able to do that. So that would be my example. But it took me a long time to think of that as well.
Also, on that, Louise, sort of you were struggling to think of examples, but having worked with you a lot, I can think of lots and lots. Oh, and I think that's probably the interesting bit for people to kind of reflect on, is that you might struggle yourselves to identify those meta skills, but actually is there opportunity with your colleagues to kind of unpack the different things you all bring to the table and kind of identify them that way too? Because one of the things that I've done a lot of work with teams on, and something that's kind of fundamental to the critical engineer, is that you have the capacity within your organization to adapt to this changing future. But this, like the NMIS work, is around identifying the skills that can do that and kind of really unlocking them in your organization. So I think that's the important one, is kind of having that communication around, no, actually you are incredibly, good at this, that, the other, and making people realize it too.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting name, isn't it? Meta. Think about what meta actually means. And meta is actually hidden information, isn't it? It's like if you take a picture and the metadata is actually the information that is contained about that image, the stuff that you can't see. So, if you kind of email a picture, you might have information on it, like where the picture was taken, what time it was taken, the date, even what camera it was on. That's showing my age. It would show what camera that you'd taken it on. So that's actually metadata. So it's almost like the hidden skills, things that you don't realize that you have, but they are there. That's the most important point. Okay, so you might have seen in some of the information about meta skills and the work that's come out of Skills Development Scotland, and there's a little video that you might have watched at the top before joining this live session. But the 12 meta skills are categorized into 3 sections, and these are the self-management, managing the now. So that's things like focusing, adapting, integrity, and initiative. And by the very nature of being on this course, you're showing how you can focus, which is really important. So you'll be demonstrating how you're actually focusing on the course. That's one skill that you can say that you're developing. And then the second one is social intelligence, and that's how we connect with the world and each other, even more so in the times at the moment, how important that is. We've all had to adapt super quickly with working from home, for example. And actually, there are a lot of positive outcomes in that. People have developed skills around collaborating and communicating in a way that they'd never had to before. And they did it really quickly because they had to get on and do it. So I think there's lots of work there that you'll be able to evidence, or lots of examples there. The third bucket, if you like, or group, is innovation and how we can create our own change. And that includes things like sense making, critical thinking, creativity, and curiosity. So there's 3 really nice kind of buckets there. And through this course, we want to help you be able to visualize and speak confidently about these skills. And here on the next slide, you can see that that's the 12 skills. And actually on our website, which we'll show you how to get to, we've created an interactive picture of these skills. And if I just click on it, it'll take me there so you can see this. And what this will be is a way for you to click on the resources afterwards and access all the videos that are actually contained within this course. So for example, if I click on focusing, this will pull up all of the videos that we have presented to you in the modules. So this is an interactive image that we've created that has got all of the resources on, everything you need to know, and this is going to be available to you after the course as well. So yeah, you'll be able to click on these and it will give you all of the videos that you'll be able to have. So that's a really nice resource there. So you can see here that all of these 12 skills, they're not things that are always in isolation from each other. So you might think of an experience that actually has shown you where you were making sense of something, you were applying critical thinking skills, looking at things a little bit differently, and then actually you had to apply some creativity. But you're going to get to know and love these skills, and I think it's always good to try and come up with our own definitions of them, because they're quite wordy as well, aren't they? So that's there for you. So a little bit about the course itself, and please do ask questions. We're keeping an eye on the discussions. So we purposely put this live session together for you like a YouTube session. We didn't want to start with a Zoom meeting where everyone had to, have a laptop and to have a camera and introduce themselves, because we wanted this to be as comfortable as possible. So we're starting out in a way that this is a live stream, it's recorded, so it's always going to be there for you. And you can dip in and out of the sessions and dip in and out of the modules on the course. That's what we mean by self-paced, and we want this to be as comfortable for you as possible. You will have got your packs in the post, and I hope you're wearing your badges. You don't really need to wear a badge to be on the course. It was just us having a bit of fun. The reason we created these lanyards and you've got your name badge is because we wanted you to feel part of this course. We wanted you to actually feel that you were experiencing something, no matter if you were sat at home. And actually that QR code on the back will take you to the resources that I've just shown you, so you'll always be able to go back. And if you don't really want to wear your name badge, this makes it a useful keychain to put on your keys. Always looks quite cool. So the days are split up into these agenda items, and we've, again, just loosely arranged these. You can take a break whenever you need to, but we just thought it was good to chunk it up this way. So after this live session, which is going to probably be about another 10 minutes or so, will disappear, and then you'll be able to work through the course. So the first session is going to be the self-management bit, where you'll be looking at focusing, adapting, integrity, and initiative. This is just a guide, but we suggest that you make sure you take a break. Your health and well-being is really important. We don't want you to be sat glued to your laptop all day and not taking a break. So please do make sure that you're stepping away from the machine. If you want to sit somewhere and just think about the questions, think about the reflective experiences, then by all means do that. Session 2 is going to be about the connecting with the world, the communicating, feeling, collaborating and leading. And then at 3:30, I'm going to jump back in and do another live session, which you can access. And I'll be just reflecting on some of the discussion questions and if there's any other answers that you might want to hear about. That's really your opportunity to make sure that you've got the opportunity to ask me anything. And then day 2, but I really appreciate that not everyone can make day 2, but that's okay, because we don't want to lose you. We want you to get as much out of this course as possible. So you can just carry on, and we'll leave the course open and you can work through those modules and do that in your own time. Of course, you could do that this evening. You could do that maybe Monday. We're going to leave it open. So if you can't make tomorrow, please don't worry. You're not going to miss out, and we're going to be here still supporting you. We're going to be in that discussion, which I'll show you exactly where it is if you haven't found that. So tomorrow we'll hop back onto a live session at 10 o'clock. It'll be recorded, so you can always go back and then watch the replay. And session 3 is really that innovation bucket, which is creating our own change. And that is, first of all, to think about what stops us. And that's not a skill that we're looking at. I just wanted to address the fact that sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. If you maybe not feeling very confident for whatever reason, whatever is going on in your life, it's really difficult to be reflective if you've got a nagging voice that says that you're unworthy or your self-esteem is poor. Then it's really, really difficult to do that. And we felt that it was really important to acknowledge that. So we put some resources in there that might be useful. Some favorite books that we found, one that's about learning to quiet your inner chimp, all will be explained. And then we thought it'd be good to look at the sense making and the critical thinking. Then, of course, we want you to take a break. Session 4 is that second part of innovation, which is the creativity, curiosity, and then we've put something there called shouting loud. Because one of the ways in which we can help you to visualize the skills that you're developing or finding out about through reflecting on your experiences is to develop a kind of mock CV. And I've got some examples where we've worked with people to create almost like a CV for yourself, which is something that has got all of the things that you're writing down about, and we've called that a visual CV. So it might be a video, it might be some scribbles of text, it might be an image of something that's going to help you to remember that experience, and I'll be explaining a bit more about that. And then finishing at 3:30, I'll be back on the live YouTube, where again we'll just be doing some really nice reflections, and if there's any other comments or feedback from that. Ben, did you want to just explain to people a bit about the discussions?
Yeah, so as you work through the course, and hopefully everyone's accessed that, just let us know if you're not in there. But as you access the course and you have a view similar to the one you can see on the screen at the moment, there's the option to open up the discussion, and on the right-hand side, you'll see the discussion will open up. The one we screen captured says 3 discussions, but there's now 4. And you can create new posts yourself if you want to open up a discussion too. We'd really love it if you're able to jump in there now. Particularly, I'd appreciate it if you wanted to reply to the course takeaways. What are you hoping to take away from the course? And if you want to reply to me in that one, that'd be really useful for us myself and Louise, to have a look at as you work through the course content today, and can obviously inform the interaction that we have with you over the next day or so. So yeah, if you are in the course and you want to jump into the discussions, we'd really love to see your comments there now. If it's just a hi to show that you found it and you're using it, then that would be amazing too. In terms of communication, that discussion forum in the course is your first port of call. If you need to reach out to us, though, you do have Louise's contact details from an email that you received. So feel free to reach out to Louise directly. And we will also be trying to reach out to each of you for a brief one-to-one, just to make sure that the course has all made sense and that you're feeling confident about identifying the meta skills, understanding how they are at work, and can take them back into your roles in your organizations as well. So I think that's why, obviously, there is the facility to just have courses that you pick up and access whenever you want. But we were keen to make this one a sort of hybrid of that experience, but also having us on hand, as we would do back in the, if everyone remembers the time when you might go to a one building all together and spend some time, such as life was. So that's the aim. We'd love to hear from you. Louise and I are on hand all today and all tomorrow and beyond that to engage with you on the course and make sure that you feel confident.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. So I'm just going to click out of that before we close and just go into the course here, just so that you can see. So I'm actually in the course player, so you have all got access to this. And on the left, you'll see all of the modules and the sessions. And obviously, when you've completed a section, you can click complete and continue at the bottom, which will take you to the next section. And at the top here, there's a progress bar so that you can see how far you've gone along. What you'll find is that the modules have either a video or a resource to look at. There'll be some questions to answer, and those questions might be to join in a community discussion, because that's collaborating. So one of the questions actually in the first module is, what do you find are your top distractions? So you'll see that in the discussions, I've put a question which Simon's already replied to. So Simon gets a shiny gold star for being the first person to go in. And I'm asking you, what are your top tips for avoiding distractions? And I think I just put my favorite one is just like put my phone on silent. Sometimes I just put my phone in my drawer and I just ignore it. But wouldn't it be great if we all had we contributed our tips, and as a result, if you're all contributing, we come away with like the best list of how to be focused on what you're doing. So there's so many nice takeaways, and these are things that are coming from you because you are the most valuable source of information to each other. So you'll see that there's community questions, community discussions that are part of it all, but also you'll see that there's personal questions as well. So for example, I've just gone into the wrong bit now. So what you'll also be able to do is to answer questions which might be a reflection question. So on adapting, for example, there's an individual self-reflection question, which is, can you think of a time of change in your career or life, just like I talked about with my being unemployed and having to find a job? Write down that time of change in your reflective journal. Now, you should have received your pack yesterday, and in your pack is a really nice scribble pad. And the reason we chose a scribble pad is because it's really important that you write down whatever comes into your head. And how many times do you write things down and rip it up and screw it up in a ball and put it in the bin? And that's the whole process of developing ideas, or coming up with kind of our own concepts. And I thought, if I gave you an actual book with lots of pages in that you actually had to physically rip out, that would be quite annoying, and you'd have like a book with like messy bits ripped out, because that's what I would do. So we thought it'd be better to give you a folder and a scribble pad, and in that folder you can then put in your scribbles from your scribble pad, and you can also put in any extra things that you need to. So your reflective journal is not actually a printed glued book. It can be a whole collection of things. So there is method in our madness, and that's why you've got a reflective journal in that way. Also, of course, we've supplied you with some lovely postcards and some stickers and bits and bobs for you to have a look at there as well. And thank you, Greg. I'm really glad that you love the pack. That's really well appreciated. So combination of community discussion questions where we can contribute and collaborate, as well as individual self-reflection questions. So you'll be able to work through those, and we'll jump back in at the end of the day and see how everyone's getting on. So just a couple of things that I was going to say before we move off and allow you to crack on with everything. So as a result of completing this course, we will be sending you a digital copy of a certificate and a hard copy of the lovely certificate. And you'll also get a digital badge, and people love digital badges because they can put them on their emails, they can put them on their LinkedIn profiles, you could put them on a Word document and print it out if you needed to. But we've developed this logo, and it's a linchpin. And the reason it's a linchpin is because a linchpin is an essential link in a chain, and it can also be flexible and adaptive. So we just thought it was a really nice symbol to have as a critical engineer, and it's a badge that you can wear with pride on your emails or on your CV. So we'll be sending that out to you. And also, if you've got a LinkedIn profile, we're really happy to endorse that you've developed these skills on your LinkedIn profile, and we can come and look at that in one of the modules. So I think that's probably covered most of the things for this morning. We hope this has been a great introduction to the course. We can't wait to see what you come up with. You're not going to be strangers to us. We do want to have one-to-one calls with everybody just to say, hi, how's it going? And reach out individually. So the best way to do that is that you all have my mobile number. So if you'd want to send me a text message or a WhatsApp message, that would be great. And then Ben and I will split the numbers up, and we'll give you a call and arrange a time if it's not convenient. But we'd love just to check in with you to see how you're getting on. And yeah, that's probably enough from us. So it's 10:30 now, so we're bang on time. We hope that's been really helpful. You can always watch this replay back. And yeah, I think that's a goodbye from me and from Ben.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And hopefully see you all in the discussion forums very, very soon.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to message me. You've got my number, and reach out on the email. Reach out on discussions, and we can't wait to see what you create. So goodbye from us. I will see you at the end of the day. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.